The Allied powers defeated the Central Powers in World War I. Fighting ended on November 11, 1918, with Germany's surrender.
The Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919. The main goal of the treaty was to weaken Germany in order to keep the peace. Various clauses limited the German military, forced them to pay for damages caused by the war, and made them accept responsibility for the war through the War Guilt Clause. Many Germans felt angered and humiliated by these demands.
Germans, especially artists, rejected a militarist nationalist culture, opting instead for an open democracy. The Republic was created in November of 1918 when Kaiser Wilhelm II was forced to abdicate by the military. Friedrich Ebert became the first president and a new Bill of Rights was created guaranteeing equality and basic rights, including freedom of speech and religion. The Weimar Constitution created a legislative body called the Reichstag, in which each representative served a 4-year term. The people would elect both parliament members and a president. The president would then have to appoint a chancellor, who would basically be the head of the Reichstag. These two people were the most powerful in the country.
However, the democracy had many issues. During elections, there were often 6-7 parties on one ballot. If one party had a supermajority, then they could form a government by themselves. However, after 1920, that never happened. So several parties would have had to divide up the government positions and agree to always support each other. By 1930, though, politicians could not agree on a coalition. So the president, Paul von Hindenburg, enacted Article 48, State of Emergency, meaning that his presidential cabinet would rule the country. Just 3 years later, they elected Hitler as chancellor, and that was the end. That was death.
Culture flourished during the Weimar Republic. An entirely new style of art was popularized, Expressionism. Art was much more abstract, with a lot of intensity and exaggerated color. The goal of artists was to reject past tradition and express strong feelings, be they violent or vulgar. Open expression of gender and sexuality was also a large part of Weimar culture. Prostitutes worked openly, and cabarets became a popular form of sexually permissive entertainment, often with political jokes pointing out the government's mishandling of Germany's severe economic problems. Conservative groups like the Nazi Party claimed the culture indicated moral decline and a lack of obedience. They wished to return to a more conservative society.
During this era, Germany also faced extreme debt. The combination of the Treaty of Versailles forcing the government to pay billions of dollars in reparations, and the fact that the war was financed through borrowed money led to major economic distress. The leaders of the Weimar were blamed for mismanagement of this situation, as they continued to print more and more money to pay off this debt, creating hyperinflation. The exchange rate peaked at 4.2 trillion marks to the dollar, and the worth was changing so fast that waiters had to announce new menu prices every half hour. Laborers could not carry their daily wages without the help of wheelbarrows, and children played with money as it was cheaper than buying actual toys. Jews and other minority groups were blamed for these economic problems. During the 1932 elections in July, Nazis gained the majority in the government. Adolf Hitler, along with his party, promised to restore Germany to its pre-Versailles glory. The official end of the Weimar Republic was on August 2, 1934, with Paul von Hindenburg's death. Hitler, who Hindenburg appointed chancellor, came into power and used Article 48 to expand his control.
Created using Powtoon.